Hello everyone. Hope you're all doing okay. Hope your families are all right, nice and safe, looking after one another. Now, one of the things that we normally do on a Wednesday afternoon is history, okay? And as you may or may not know, our topic for this half term is Moon Zoom. It's all about space, rockets, astronauts. Really excited. I'm really excited for this one, okay? So, as you know, like I've just said, our topic is Moon Zoom. And there's lots of different vocab that would normally go up here on our vocab wall. But because we're not here, we can't do that at the moment. Hopefully we can do that soon, okay? So I'm going to show you a few different words that will go on our vocab wall, okay? So our first word is here. Our first word is astronaut. Now, that's a special one because we're going to be using that one a lot in today's lesson. The next one is solar system with all of our planets. And again, we'll get onto all of these in different lessons, which is really, really important that you remember these. Our next one is moon buggy. So that's what people travel around in on space. Look at that. It's like a weird little car. Imagine I drove to work in that. Next one is universe. Oh, that's a hard one. Can you say universe for me? Amazing. Oh, this one's an easy one. Moon. Everyone point to where the moon is. The sky. Beautiful. Oh, this is a good one. This is probably my favourite one. Alien. Alien. Really good. The next one is where we live. Planet Earth. You need to remember that one as well today. Oh, I've just said this one. Planet. Lots of different planets. Oh, this is a good one as well. I've always wanted to go on one since I was a little boy. Rocket. Really good. Oh, this is a bit of a harder one. You may not know this one yet. Gravity. Can you say gravity? Really good, guys. Oh, even harder this time. Constellation. Wow, that's where all the stars, see these lines, that's where the stars all link up together. Really, really good. And our last one for now is zero gravity. Now I'm going to show you something to do with zero gravity soon. Really funny. So there are our vocab words for now. So remember these. I'll go over them. I'll keep going over them throughout our different topic lessons so we don't forget them and they become easier for us, okay? Now, our first part of this lesson, we're going to talk about space because, like we know, the moon is up in space. But some of you may not know that planet Earth, where we live, is also in space, floating around, okay? So I want to talk to you about what space is, just really briefly. It's absolutely gigantic. It is huge, okay? It's covered in planets, stars, all sorts of things, okay? One thing that is really, really interesting, and one thing I've always wanted to do, is go up to space. I think that that would be so cool to fly in a rocket all the way up to space and go on different planets, fly around and see planet Earth from miles and miles away. That would be so amazing, okay? What's really, really good and what's always interested me since I was really young is that some people have actually flown up to space, believe it or not, and they've actually gone on the moon. They've stood on the moon, which is really, really, really cool. I love that, and I've always wanted to do that. And what I'm going to show you in a second, under this video, you can click a link afterwards, and it's a man, okay? He's floating around in his rocket ship, and he's showing you how to brush your teeth in space, okay? I know that might sound weird, but brushing your teeth in space is a lot different because there is something called zero gravity. So that means you can float around. So if I stand up like this, remember you're not allowed to laugh when I do this, okay? So if I stand here, let me pan it down. So if I stand here, I'm stood still. If I jump down and I don't float around. But let's just say in space, this is how I normally stand. If I jump, I'll go, and I can't walk like this. I can't walk quick. I have to walk like this. Really slow, really slow. And look, if I did this, got my pen, if I drop it, what do you think is going to happen? Can you tell me what's going to happen if I let go of my pen? Exactly, it's going to fall down. It's not going to float, is it? Look. Amazing. So, one thing that I find really interesting, in the video that you will watch, the man gets his toothbrush, he lets go, and it's just floating around, waiting for him because there's no gravity. Can you say gravity again? Amazing. So, he's going to show you a really, really interesting video of how there's no gravity in space and things just float around. So next, we're going to talk about the moon. We've all seen the moon up in the sky, and it's too far away for us to reach. I couldn't go outside and stretch my arm out and touch the moon, could I? It's too far away. And just to let you know how far away the moon actually is, we've all seen a can of Coke, haven't we? A little can, a fizzy drink. If I stacked a can of Coke on top of each other, one by one, it would take 3.2 billion cans of Coke. That is a lot of Coke. We couldn't drink that much. Our teeth would fall out, and we don't want that. Okay? And another one that I worked out, if there was lots and lots of Mr. Bennett's, me, there was lots of them stacked on top, and they were all stood on my shoulders, then on each other's shoulders, stacked up and stacked up, there would be, well, you would need 210 million Mr. Bennett's. Imagine that. Would that be good or would that be bad? Yeah, that'd be good. I think that would be good. Really stacked up on top of each other all the way. That's how far away the moon is. And like I said, some people have actually flown up, but it's very difficult and it takes a lot of training, lots of years and lots of money to get to space. Not everyone can go to space, okay? So our person for today that we're going to focus on in our history lesson is someone that has been famous for a long, long time. Your mummies and daddies might know who they are. Even grandma and granddad might know. It is someone called Neil Armstrong. Can you say Neil Armstrong for me? Amazing. Now, Neil Armstrong is very famous for one particular reason. He was the first ever person to fly up and step foot on the moon. So he's the first man to ever go on the moon. That sounds so unbelievable that he's done that, but he's actually done that. And he did that in July 1969. That was a long, long time ago. A long time ago. And when he stood on the moon, he said this quote here: "That's one small step for man and one giant leap for mankind." And those are very famous words that he said when he was stood on the moon. And remember what I did with our zero gravity? I can't just jump up and down and land straight down, can I? He floated around and he had to hold on to things. Imagine floating off into space. That'd be quite scary. You never know what you might see. Okay? But like I said, Neil Armstrong, he was an astronaut. Can you say astronaut? Amazing. So Neil Armstrong was not only the first man to step foot on the moon. There are some interesting facts about him as well. So he got his pilot's license because he was a pilot. He used to fly planes around before he trained to become an astronaut. Okay, and he got his pilot's license when he was 16. And he got that before he even got his license to drive a car. So he could fly a plane, but he wasn't allowed to drive a car. Imagine that. Neil and his crew flew to the moon on a mission called Apollo 11, okay, which is very interesting. And one thing that I find so cool, when Neil Armstrong went on the moon, he left his footprints with his boots. So with his boots, he was treading on the floor, and they're still there now. Even though he went all those years ago, his footprints are still on the moon. And they will stay there for lots and lots and lots and lots of years. Which I find so interesting because there is no wind in space. There's no wind to blow the dust over the footprint. So imagine Mr. Bennett, Mrs. Stannard and Miss Gadsby all built a big rocket ship. Okay? We sat in it tomorrow and we flew up to space. We went to the moon. If we looked hard enough, we would probably see Neil Armstrong's actual footprints that he left on the moon. Imagine that. I'd love to see that, I would, and maybe one day we might be able to, but you never know. Now, as well, underneath this video in the same blog post, along with the video of the man brushing his teeth in space, you will find a video of lots of different clips of Neil Armstrong and his crew's journey to get to space. Because it wasn't just oh, hi Neil Armstrong, do you want to go to space? Yeah, okay. And then the next day they went up. It didn't happen like that. I think it took 7 years to train to get up there. 7 years, a long, long time. But he was committed and he really wanted to be the first man on the moon. So he made sure he worked hard for that. And there will be a video with lots of different videos of the real actual footage of them going up to space, the rocket blasting off, their first step, and those famous words he said. You might even see his footprint on there. I'm not too sure, but it's really, really interesting. So make sure you pay attention. Okay. Okay, so year one, your task after this, if you need to re-watch this video, that is perfectly fine. Watch it as many times as you need to, as long as all the facts, the vocab are in your head. Okay, so you remember them. But your task, like I said, I found it very, 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 very interesting that Neil Armstrong's footprint was still on the moon. So what I need you to do, there will be an image of a footprint. Okay. I need you to, around the footprint, write some facts about Neil Armstrong. Okay. So he was an astronaut. It took 7 years to get to space. His crew, it was Apollo 11. His footprint is still in space. Any kind of fact, even the fact that he was a pilot before he became an astronaut. Lots of different facts. Or what I would love to see is different things that you have found interesting that have sprung out and stuck in your head. Anything interesting about Neil Armstrong or space, can you go and mind that all around the footprint? Then after that, you can colour in the footprint in any way. Let's imagine there's alien goo. And alien goo has been poured onto the footprint and you can colour it in any colour, pattern, anything you like. But the main thing is writing down some facts around the footprint before. Okay? Once you've done that, I would like you to take a picture or screenshot and send it back on the blog. Okay? If you want to, you can also comment anything you've liked about this lesson, anything interesting or anything else you might want to learn about Neil Armstrong or about space, and I will think about that for you. Okay?